Have you ever heard of a warrior who fought so fiercely, so relentlessly, that when the battle ended, his hand was literally stuck to his sword? This is not a myth. It's a true story from the Bible, the account of one of David's mighty men, a warrior whose name still echoes through history. Eleazar, son of Dodai. But what could make a man fight so hard that his grip could no longer let go? And why was this battle fought over something as simple as a field of lentils? Let's step back into ancient Israel, in the time of King David. The land was constantly under threat. The Philistines, the old enemies of Israel, were relentless raiders. They didn't just fight for glory or conquest. They came to steal the very food of the people. Imagine the scene. Hard-working families, farmers bending their backs in the sun, planting and harvesting lentils, one of the staples of survival in Israel. A single field of lentils could mean life or death for entire villages during times of famine or siege. The Philistines knew this. They knew that by attacking the harvest, they weren't just taking food. They were taking the heart of Israel's survival, striking at the very hope of its people. So when the Philistines gathered in force and swept down upon a field of lentils, panic spread. The men of Israel fled before the raiders. After all, who would risk their life for beans and grains? But 3 men didn't run. Among them stood Eleazar, one of the 3 greatest warriors in David's army. To him, this was no ordinary field. This was the inheritance God had given Israel. This was the food of widows and children, the symbol of God's promise. To walk away was to let the enemy trample not just crops, but God's covenant. So Eleazar drew his sword, and while others fled, he stood his ground. The Philistines came like a wave, shields clashing, spears thrusting, dust rising in the air. Eleazar met them head-on. Stroke after stroke, cut after cut, he fought like a man possessed. Not for glory, but for God, for his people, for every hungry stomach waiting for that harvest. Hour after hour, his arms swung until the muscles trembled and burned. Blood ran down his blade, sweat poured from his brow, but he refused to yield. He fought until something extraordinary happened. His hand cramped so tightly around the hilt of his sword that it could not be opened. His hand and his weapon became one. By the time the battle ended, the field was littered with fallen enemies. Eleazar stood alone, sword fused to his palm, surrounded by silence and the smell of victory. The Bible says it clearly. The Lord brought about a great victory that day. But here's the most powerful part. When it was over, the rest of the army returned, not to fight, but only to collect the spoils. They had fled in fear, but Eleazar's stand had saved the field. What others thought wasn't worth fighting for, he had defended with his life. And this isn't just a story about ancient Israel, it's a lesson. Sometimes the battles that seem the smallest, the field of lentils in your life, are the ones that matter the most. It could be your family, your faith, your integrity, your principles. When everyone else runs away, when others say it's not worth it, will you stand your ground like Eleazar? Will you hold on until your hand clings to the sword, refusing to let go? Eleazar teaches us that victory often comes through endurance. His name may not be as famous as David's or Samson's, but his courage shines just as bright. He proved that God doesn't always need an army. Sometimes all he needs is one faithful warrior who refuses to give up. So the next time you face a battle that seems ordinary, remember, there are no small battles when it comes to defending what God has given you. Like Eleazar, fight for your field. Fight until your hand cleaves to the sword. And never forget, the Lord is the one who brings the victory. If you found this story inspiring, don't just keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs courage today, and subscribe for more incredible untold stories from the Bible.